All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to do something pretty wild. We're taking the abstract, highly theoretical physics of the H3O Labs framework and translating it into a visual journey. Get ready, because we're going to look past the complex math to explore a deeply fascinating and honestly completely mind-bending proposition about the fundamental architecture of reality itself. So, let's just dive right in. We usually assume the reality we see around us, the chair you're sitting in, the screen you're looking at, even your own hands, is the absolute bottom layer of existence. We treat it as fundamental. But what if it isn't? What if literally everything we observe in our familiar four-dimensional universe is just a shadow or a projection of a much deeper, hidden reality? That is the exact question we're unpacking today. Here's our quick roadmap. We'll start with the space-time illusion, then move into the fifth-dimensional substrate, unpack the projection codex, reinterpret the quantum world, and finally, show how this preserves established physics. Let's see how a 5D framework attempts to give all of modern physics a single, unified origin story. Okay, part one, the space-time illusion. Think of our observable, four-dimensional space-time as a giant movie screen. Empirical physics, basically everything humanity has ever studied from gravity to particle interactions, describes the vibrant, moving images on that screen. But ontological physics, which is really the heart of the H3O Labs framework, completely shifts our gaze. It wants to understand the projector itself. We're taking our focus off the flat, projected image and turning around to look at the vast, complex machine that's actually casting the light. Which brings us to part two, the fifth-dimensional substrate. Imagine a realm that doesn't tick forward second by second. This 5D substrate is a completely non-temporal domain. No past, no future. Instead of a timeline, it acts as a vast, timeless holding area for all the raw, unsequenced potential of reality. It essentially contains all the informational building blocks, just hovering there, waiting to be expressed into physical existence. Now, this completely flips our traditional worldview. We're taught that our physical universe is a static foundation, right? Like a finished house we just happen to live in. But think about how this continuous generation concept changes things. Instead of the universe being a static foundation, it's actually being generated frame by frame. It is an ongoing, emergent outcome, continuously blossoming out of that timeless 5D substrate every single millisecond. Let's move right along to part three, the projection codex. So, if the 5D substrate holds all this wild potential, how does it actually become reality? Well, enter the projection codex. Think of it as a cosmic filter, or maybe a highly strict movie director. It's a structured set of rules that decides exactly which of those floating 5D potentials are stable enough to become physically realized in our observable universe. It's the ultimate gatekeeper. It governs exactly what gets to persist as the matter and energy that you and I can actually interact with. We can break this incredibly dense ontological claim down into a really simple three-step process. First, we start with the timeless, unsequenced potential of the 5D substrate. Then, that raw potential passes through the projection codex, where those strict selection rules are rigorously applied. And finally, the output emerges as the observable reality of our 4D spacetime, cause, filter, effect. What this implies is that creation isn't just a one-time event locked away in the distant past. It's a constant, ongoing stream of projection. And because of this continuous flow, our universe is actually an open system, constantly interacting with that deeper 5D layer. And here is where it gets really, really wild. Extreme structures in our universe, like black holes, they aren't just cosmic dead ends or trash cans. In this framework, they're transition boundaries. They are intense focal points where the film essentially cycles back, reintegrating information right back into the projector. All right, part four, reinterpreting the quantum world. The absolute beauty of this projection metaphor is how it handles the most confusing, headache-inducing parts of modern science. Quantum mechanics doesn't need to be broken. It just needs a different perspective. Take superposition, for example. Rather than some impossible paradox, this just represents multiple coexisting potentials held in the 5D substrate before they fully resolve. Then you have entanglement, which is simply a single 5D source casting two separate, instantly connected shadows into our 4D world. And the famous wave function? That's just the probability distribution of what the projector might select next. So when we measure all of this quantum weirdness in laboratories, we aren't seeing a glitch in reality. We are quite literally catching a glimpse of the 5D substrate's unselected options hovering right above our 4D reality. The quantum states are just the mechanics of the projector doing its work before the image hits the screen. Okay, final section, part 5, preserving established physics. Now, you might be wondering at this point, does this wild idea completely break Einstein's theories? Not at all. I want to explicitly reassure you here, this framework preserves established physics entirely. General relativity remains totally valid for spacetime geometry, quantum mechanics remains valid for microscopic predictions, thermodynamics still rules energy, and the standard model still rules particle interactions. All of these incredibly accurate scientific models still perfectly describe the screen. There's a really clear boundary drawn here between the empirical and the ontological. On one side, our observation and empirical laws remain untouchable. We absolutely aren't modifying the math of how the universe behaves. But on the other side, we are digging into the deep structural architecture of why it behaves that way. We are effectively separating the what from the why. This framework even elegantly tackles massive, lingering mysteries, like the forward march of time and thermodynamic entropy. Instead of viewing these as fundamental, unbreakable laws of all existence, they are interpreted simply as the informational dispersion of the projection process itself. Think of it as the natural scattering or static that occurs as that raw potential hits our 4D screen. They are an emergent statistical feature of a universe being continuously generated, rather than native features of the timeless 5D substrate. Ultimately, as the framework states, the successful mathematical descriptions of modern physics may emerge from a deeper, unified ontological structure governing the continuous projection of physical reality. It provides a fascinating, beautiful origin story where cosmology, quantum mechanics, and thermodynamics aren't fighting with each other. They all share the exact same structural root. So to wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a pretty massive question to ponder. If our vast, complex reality, the galaxies, the stars, the chair you're sitting in right now, literally everything we have ever seen, touched, or measured, is merely the image resolving on the screen, what other incredible, unselected potentials might currently exist within the timeless depths of the 5D projector? Thanks for exploring this fascinating framework with us.